Hey everyone, so today I'm here to do a book tag for you, and I haven't seen anything similar to this on BookTube yet. If I have just overlooked it since the last time I was looking around and this does exist, please correct me in the comments below and I will definitely give credit where credit is due. The story behind this tag is I was making a mixtape. I started thinking, what if I was making a mixtape to give to somebody that had maybe never read before or maybe wanted to know some of the books I like to read, and I had to put those books onto a mixtape and give to them. Then I was thinking this would make an awesome book tag. There are only two rules that you have to do. The first is you must name your mixtape. It can have a really quirky name or a fun name. You gotta read this is the title of my mixtape. The second thing is you can have a minimum of 3 books or you can have a maximum of 10 books on your mixtape. The reason why is if you made a normal mix CD, you only have a set amount of space you can fill. If you try to put more on it, it's not going to allow you to put it on the same CD. I was setting a set amount of space on the CD for you to be able to make this mixtape, but also letting you have a little bit of leniency with what you would put on it. I'd really love to see some unique book mixtapes. I think there are the generic choices that we all go and reach for on our bookshelves. This is a chance to widen your horizons and show something different. I have 10 books on mine. The whole reason behind the 10 books is this. 3 books, you would have to have the majority of your books being 900 plus pages. Between 5 and 7 books, the majority of your books need to be between 500 and 899 pages. And if you want to go for the 10, it has to be less than 499 pages. You don't have to put the maximum amount on your CD. It's just so that you have kind of a gauge to go between. I have read the 10 books that I have on my mixtape. Rather than talking about the actual description of the book, I'm going to mention what I liked about the book. The first book I have is Alex Rider's Stormbreaker by Anthony Horowitz. Alex Rider is a really unique and male character, which I don't think I read enough novels with a male point of view, which I always get a little thrown off when I first start reading it, but I find that I absolutely love it. The next thing is that it seems believable with what happens. It's not like he's just thrown into these situations and everything works out for the best. You never fully know if he's going to get out of the situations he ends up in. The next book on my list is A Bride Most Begrudging by Deanne Gist. The reason why I put this on here is because, number 1, there is no insta-love in this book. Number 2, it is beautifully crafted as a romance. It's not done where the characters meet and their eyes just notice each other from in the distance and they think, I'm gonna marry you one day. No. Another thing that I really like with this is it is a historical romance, so you do have a lot of history that is put in here, and I really enjoyed that as well. The author did, for what I do know about the history of the time that the story is written in, stayed very true to that time. The last thing I want to state is if you are a fan of Christian or clean fiction, you're definitely going to see that in here. One other thing I'm going to mention is the female character is very much a lover of mathematical equations and working on these puzzles and solving them. You have a female character that in the time that she's set in is actually interested in things and wanting to learn things that weren't really available to them, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. The next book is The School for Good and Evil by Soman Chainani. I know that this one is starting to be a little bit more popular when it comes to readers. I couldn't help but put it on here. I love it so much. The story has a unique twist where appearances are not how people behave, and I think it's so true. People can look one way but be the complete opposite with how they act with people. This has fairy tale and classic novels children in this story, and I love that about this. If you guys like fairy tales, if you like boarding school stories, if you like stories where there are some characters that are not always the most likable, then this is definitely the reason why I'd mention this one. It's so much fun reading it, and I feel like this is cotton candy, like cloud-like in your hand, but once it goes in your mouth, like, you can taste all the sugar and it just melts in your mouth. That's exactly what this book is to me. Cotton candy. The next book that I have is Dying to Meet You by Kate Kleiss and illustrated by M. Sarah Kleiss. If you guys like a series of unfortunate events, if you guys are fans of seeing authors use wordplay to their advantage or play a bigger part of the story, and if you guys are interested in reading a book within a book, the next one is The Year of My Indian Prince by Ella Thorpe Ellis. If you guys are new to my channel, hi, I'm Rebecca. If you're an old friend here, you know that this book has appeared numerous times. This story follows a girl who gets tuberculosis, and it's very realistic. This story takes place in 1945 when the only cure was to be sent to a TB hospital. This story has an Indian prince in it, and this story also has a twist at the end. And I'm not spoiling anything by saying that, but I don't even think you would get the twist unless you do some research before you read it. In which case, don't research anything, just read the book. It's so good, and I wish more people would read it. The next story I have is Kings by Mimi Jean Pamphilov. If you guys like adult novels, if you guys like mysterious characters, if you like a mystery where something ends up throwing a girl into a guy's path where she needs his assistance, and he's really brooding and mean. If you're interested to see an author that actually clicks things in place, 3 different books, has everything meshed together that you won't even see it coming until the end of the story, then you're going to want to read this. And I would recommend having the second and the third book, King for a Day and King of Me, on hand, because these stories just... You cannot... This one definitely was one that, like, I could not put down. I had to pick up the second and the third book. This book just got me so involved in the story, and I've kind of gotten away from the whole, like, recommending as I've gone along. If you like mystery, if you like paranormal, Deadly Cool by Gemma Halliday. If you guys are fans of Veronica Mars and you guys like mystery and you like detective work, you like swoon-worthy guys, you like a character who's a little bit sassy, really smart, and is also willing to go the distance, who is very realistic because she makes mistakes, then that's why I would recommend this one. And I just want to mention one thing because I think it's hilarious. You know the saying, you know, beware what skeletons you're going to find in the closet? In the beginning of this book, Hartley Featherstone, our main character, finds out her boyfriend cheated on her with another girl. So she's going to go and, like, dig in the dirt. She's like, I'm going to his house, and I'm going to, like, confront him and find out the answer and everything. And she opens up his closet because she sees something in it. And behold, the skeleton in the closet is a dead body. The next book I have is The Siren by Kiera Cass. This is the self-published version, which is no longer in publication. The rights were bought, and Kiera Cass rewrote a little bit of the story and corrected some stuff and republished it that way. I don't know what changes she has made to the story, but this version is so raw. It's the reason why I love it, and I connected with it, and it's just beautiful. If you guys like sirens, it's fairy tale-esque, it's raw with the emotions and the characters and the writing, and it's dealing with sirens. So, I love it. We're down to the last 2, The Gypsy King by Maureen Fergus. I went to say Gemma for some reason. Wow. Me and words today are not going together. First off, cover love. I think that this is a gorgeous cover, and the second and third are just as beautiful. If you guys are liking fantasy, if you guys are interested in mystery and royalty and you know, things not being what they seem. Oh, and I think the last one I should say is, if you guys like a male character love interest who steps sometimes over the boundary of what is prim and proper, I think you'll like this. Alright, so the final book, and I probably have to say this is the one I'm most excited to have on this because I can't get over how much I love it. It is Insanity by Cameron Jace. Again, cover love. Believe it or not, the cover is what drew me into this book. So I think the first thing I should say is the cover. Second off, the tagline, who in the world am I? Third, it's dealing with an insane asylum. Fourth, it is dealing with our main character who actually killed all of her classmates. Fifth, this is dealing with our main character being named Alice. And when I say that, I mean Alice from Alice in Wonderland Alice. And the final thing that will hopefully turn you into, I gotta read this, is the Cheshire Cat is a serial killer. Now comes the time I'm gonna tag some people. First off, I want to make sure that each and every one of you know that even if I don't name you, you're definitely tagged to do this. So if you make videos, feel free to make a video. Second, if you do not make YouTube videos, then please comment down below and let me know what books you would put on your mixtape, and also what the title of it would be. Maud over at Reading Miss Froggy, Kaylee over at Books for MKs, Christine over at Pullin' Bananas Books, Jessie over at Jessie the Reader, Reagan over at Peruse Project, Katrina over at Little Book Owl, Kat over at Katie Tastic, Natasha over at Tashopolis, Sasha over at A Book Utopia, Gwen over at the Gwendolyn Reading Method, Emma over at Emma Books, and last but definitely not least, Miranda over at Books 101. Alright, I will see you guys in my next video next week. Toodles!